Okay everyone, so welcome back. So this is another one of my Cotoneasters. What I think is Cotoneaster anyway, so if you know better, let me know. So I'm really liking the look of this one for a little bonsai. It's kind of like twin trunk, and they both kind of twist and turn around each other. And I think I pruned it back once already. I think I collected this or salvaged it from a garden clearance that I was doing. I think it is one trunk down there. So it'd be interesting to get this in a little pot and give it a little prune and just have a look at the roots and see what we can do with it really. It's got the beginnings of quite a nice little tree, I think. So let's give it some love. Do you know what I think would be cool? If I tried to get it in my little homemade pot. So all I did to make this was pile up a little mound of sand and then smothered it in concrete and stuck some holes in it with some pipe. So I haven't done any videos on that. Actually, I have done a few on concrete, but not that sort of method, so I might do that in the future. But I think that'll look quite cool in there. And it gives me an excuse to use this pot anyway. I'm not sure what else I would use it for. So it's proper solid now, and it's aged a bit outside. See, it's got kind of like licheny algae growing on it, so yeah, I'm going to pop that in there. So I'll stick it on time lapse while I sort out the roots and stuff on this. I might get back to you if I find anything useful or interesting. So we'll see what happens. Right, so I've been going at it for a while now, and I've managed to expose that much so far. Quite nice looking trunk there. It's quite unique looking. So I think I'm going to leave. I might take off a few of these roots off, like that one. But all these twisty, sort of gnarly looking ones, I quite like them. So I'm going to let them grow. There's not so many around the back, so I could alter the angle a bit and get some more roots down here. But I've got to get all this massive roots. It's taken me ages so far just to get down to there. Trying not to damage too many roots. So I'm going to crack on, chip away. If you haven't seen my little homemade tool that I've done, it's just a bit of apple wood that I've carved into. It had a nice little hook shape, so it's an ideal little root prodder. I don't like to yank away at them. I like to sort of gradually prod away at the soil, and it can take quite a while, but at least this way I'm not actually really disturbing too many roots. I'm just removing soil and stuff at the moment. So there's hardly any roots in what I've been taking off. But anyway, so I'll crack on and get back to you when I'm done. Right, so I'm getting over the roots. I've just come across this bit here which I've tried untangling so much, and it's just a mass of roots to it. So I'm thinking of it kind of like brushing hair, working your way up from the ends. Now I'm getting there, but sometimes you kind of just, like, I've just pulled that bit out. Sometimes you just have to cut a bit out, or in this case you yank it off. Another bit. But look at how many roots there is on this plant. You can't even notice I've pulled them ones off, and there was only a little pot on here, so the tree probably won't notice now that I've just removed like some of its roots, because as soon as I put it in a new pot with fresh soil, all these roots will be fully saturated and stuff, so the tree will be fine. Plus I will be taking a bit of foliage off the top to kind of compensate for any roots that I'll take off. So anyway, I'm just about done with the root raking. I'm not actually going to cut any, I don't think, unless any are a bit long to go in the pot. And obviously that one there on that trunk I'm going to put off, and probably the next one up if I can get it out. This one, I'll just try and snap it off my hand or cut it, and we can clean up the trunk mark later on. There's a couple more high ones which I'll take off. Hopefully you can see what I'm up to. That one's off, and that one's off. There's a big old dead one in there, I can see. Cut that off. There's no point in that being in there. And these two are quite nice roots, although they're a bit high. I could cut them off. But for now I'm just going to leave it like that, I think. So that one and that one I could eventually take off to raise it up a little bit more, but for now I'll just bury it down to about there. Try and clear out anything that's grown in the middle of the trunk. And I will wash that off, give it a bit of a scrape, get the soil off from in there, and then I'll probably prune the top just to kind of compensate for the amount of roots I've taken off, which isn't really that much, so it should go quite nicely in this little pot and be quite happy in there. I'll mound it up a bit, be quite happy in there for a little while anyway, and it will look quite nice. Right, so as usual, it's got quite big holes, but I'm not too worried about the soil washing through, so I'm just going to put a few handfuls in, or a handful or two, try and mound it up into the middle of the pot, and then take the tree, get all the roots spread out, so go out from the middle and then pull them out so they're all out like the hands on a clock. Hopefully I won't need to cut any more roots off. These long ones are fine for now. They might become sort of aerial rootish, I don't know. So I can move it across a bit, so it's not quite applied in the centre, because it kind of leans that way. That'll be fine, it'll look quite cool. Hopefully I haven't got my arm in the way of the video all the time, it's quite difficult to do. So I'll get all these poked in around the edges, and then I'll put soil on. Don't worry about these ones poking out. I'm going to chop them off, but I want them held in that direction, so and again, this is just grit compost. Compost with loads of grit. So there's all sorts of stuff in here. Doesn't really matter as far as I'm concerned at the moment. With this type of tree, it'll be happy in garden mud. So this is like luxury for it, being in compost mixed with gravel. Hopefully it'll drain quite well and won't dry out too quick. And especially with the concrete pot, it tends to suck the moisture out, so if it was in just bonsai soil, it might dry out far too quick. I don't know, because I haven't bought any yet, like I said. So I'm just poking the soil in, getting it all in around the roots. And then what I'll do is go around and prune these long ones off. And the tips will just naturally shrivel back to where it's moist. So it doesn't even matter if you leave these end bits hanging over, they won't be there long. They'll naturally sort of air prune off eventually. And they've grown in the right direction. So come mid-spring, early summer next year, I might give it another repot or a prune, or just have a look at it. So I've got over 150 trees last time I counted, and I'm finding if I do one at a time, make it look good, best that I can get it, and then ignore it for another 6 months at least, except for watering it if needed, but I can just put it somewhere out of the way and then come back to it. So that's what I plan to do with this. I'll prune it back a little bit now. Just take off any long bits that are kind of growing in the wrong places, or little stubby bits we don't want down there. And that little branch, don't want that becoming the leader of that branch. And the more I prune the tips of things, the more they'll back bud. So if in doubt, just tip the branch. I'm not sure about that branch, so I'll cut it back to there for now. There's one on the inside here, which is fine for now. Big old stub there. Chip that back a bit. Hopefully you can see what I'm up to. That's about as much as I can get that back for now. So front wise, I'm not really sure. I kind of planted it with thinking that that was going to be the front. I quite like it like that, so that'll do. And I won't water it because this is all soaking wet. It's been outside. It's been raining for about a week straight, so it's still quite warm, so it can still go outside. I don't have to really protect it. Sometimes I'll leave it in the greenhouse for a week or so just to so I can keep an eye on it and make sure it's moist and stuff. But like I said, it's raining, so it'll be fine. So I'll put this outside. So there they are, the 2 bonsais that we've done today. So let me know what you think, guys. Any ideas, let me know.